Hello, everybody. My name is Jacob,
And I'm Carlos.
and this is the coin flip.
Yeah. All right. Let's go.
Okay, let's get to it. So now what we're talking about in episode 1 is what is cryptocurrency?
What is cryptocurrency?
Now, textbook definition, we're going to pull it up for you. A digital currency in which transactions are verified and records maintained by a decentralized system using cryptography rather than by a centralized authority. That's textbook. Now, big thing I want to mention there is decentralization. Decentralization pretty much means that there's no third party at all. There's no bank that can say, hey, you can't buy this, or oh, hey, let me call you up. Who's using your card? No, it is all yours, and you are in charge of everything. That's really big. And
Okay. So thank you for that, Jacob. So
yeah,
what's the biggest cryptocurrency? What's the best one? Would tell me.
the biggest and baddest.
Biggest and baddest.
Oh, we're talking about Bitcoin. Everybody knows Bitcoin, right? Everybody knows Bitcoin. Maybe you know Ethereum too. Oh, those are the big two. You know, the dad and the mom, as you can say, probably.
Well, talk to me like I'm a kindergartner. What is a Bitcoin, Jacob?
A Bitcoin is pretty much a decentralized asset, like I just told you. Oh,
Okay.
kindergartner, my bad.
Yeah.
Crypto, Bitcoin, is just a coin that's not like this. I don't really know how to explain it to a kindergartner. I don't think a kindergartner would get it.
All right. I don't think a kindergartner get either. That's bad
No,
enough.
okay.
Hey, we're still learning out there, guys. We are still learning.
Right,
We
right.
are freestyling the pod because it feels more natural, but we're still learning.
Right,
But okay, so explain it to a normal person, then, Jacob. Explain it
right.
to a normal person.
So Bitcoin pretty much is a digital asset. You can kind of consider it. I always thought about it when I was younger that it's kind of like I compared it to some premium currency or like currency in like a video game. Like it's just digital. Like it's not anything, but it actually applies to our real life. It actually holds real life value, like gold, like silver, diamonds, fiat currency. It holds value. Not everybody will accept this coin for now, but it is still something that holds monetary value, and it's been increasing ever since. I'm sure that's why you're into this podcast, is because you've seen the price of it grow.
And you wondering why is it going up? The only thing I see it do is go up or down. It go down a lot when it go down, though.
Oh, it does.
Right. So that's where we are trying to draw you in and make you understand or help you, assist you to understand what's going on with this. So one of the best ways I can explain Bitcoin to you is it's a peer-to-peer system for payments. And that's the biggest draw to it, really. When Jacob talks about decentralization, that is what we're talking about. So when you Venmo someone, or if you send someone some money on Cash App, Apple Pay, PayPal, all of the above, those are centralized means of payments to other people. It goes from one bank account to another bank account. Now, if I was to send Jacob $15 worth of Bitcoin for pizza, let's say we ordered a pizza,
Thanks.
and I sent Jacob $15 and I would send it to him in Bitcoin. There's nobody in between that. Nobody can freeze my account. Nobody can freeze his account. No one can look at this and go like, hey, these guys are doing some sketchy stuff. Why is he sending them $15 with no description behind it? So basically it is, and it works as a way of like cash. What would be the difference if I gave Jacob $15 in cash? There wouldn't be one, but it's on my phone and I like using my phone. So makes it a lot easier. Don't have to go to the ATM. My money's right there. It's my money.
Right.
Now we can't talk about Bitcoin without talking about the blockchain. That's the really the biggest thing into it. My father, who is in finance, saw Bitcoin when it was in like 2010, 2011, 2012. You know what he said? He looked at it, he said, "This is BS." Didn't look at it. Didn't think to put $100 or $200 into it. That's fine.
Can't blame him though.
That's fine. No, that's fine. That's fine. I wouldn't have I probably wouldn't have put my money in it either.
Right.
But what he says now is that there's an infrastructure built around crypto, and that infrastructure is the blockchain. So what the blockchain is, in order to explain this in the simplest way I can, it is an open ledger or what you can call a transparent ledger. Now, let me define a ledger for you. Every time there's a transaction done, you don't put anything in your ledger, but a bank carries a ledger. So there's a debit and there's a credit to every side of everything that you do. When money leaves your account and pays your utilities expense, though that's a debit and a credit. You don't realize it, but our lives really run on debits and credits. So what the open ledger is you can see these debits and credits. When it happens with a bank, you can only see your side of the transaction. So if his money coming into you, you see a debit. If his money going out to you, you see a credit. Or money coming out of your account, you see a credit. So the blockchain has all these transactions that are visible, but the biggest, and I mean the biggest draw to it is that there's no name attached to the transactions. So I just sent Jacob $15, but you won't be able to tell.
Right. There's no name. So every transaction you do, everything you pay for is all stored somewhere. Like, oh, hey, Carlos just bought some lotion at Walmart. Okay, that's stored somewhere. So that is now in an archive somewhere, whatever it is. But with cryptocurrency and this peer-to-peer and how it's an open ledger, is all these, there's no name behind it. You are distinguishably identified as an address, is what they call it. It's on the blockchain. You will see a bunch of transactions and a bunch of hodgepodge of numbers. It looks really intimidating at first, but at the end of the day, they're just simply names, or to make things less confusing, they're wallets.
Yes.
So that's not saying, so for example, you can send cryptocurrency to yourself because it's not a person. It's simply just a wallet. You go ahead and you find a different wallet, for example, like on Coinbase, which we'll touch a little bit about that later, and you go to a different offline wallet and you send it over, and you simply just say, oh, 0xBBX, etc. Sent it to 0xBBBB, whatever. But that's all it says. It doesn't say you sent it to yourself. It doesn't say you sent it to Bob or Jill or Bill. It's just a bunch of hodgepodge of numbers. And that's why people think it's a little little skeptical in that sense, because there's no really transaction about it. There's no name behind it, but it also gives you that sense of freedom. Like no one's watching you. No one's doing all that stuff.
Well, personally, Jacob, I'll tell you this: as an accounting major, I feel intimidated because it's doing an accountant's job for him.
Right.
And now there will be need to be someone to manage it and watch over it and watch what's happening. But this technology is too efficient to like not feel threatened. As a 22-year-old, I feel threatened. I feel as if times are going to change, and if you don't know anything about this right now, you're going to be left behind. And it's best to just even know a little bit,
Right.
So
me and Carlos firmly believe that this is the future of our generation. So we need to at least give ourselves the knowledge so we can proceed, instead of scrambling when you're older and thinking like, what's everybody using? How do I do this? How do I do that? And that's why you're here on this podcast, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, that is why you are here.
But another thing we want to do is we really want to talk about the fact that cryptocurrency is volatile. And in a sense, you could say it's unpredictable because of how volatile it is. But there is a trend. And it's weird to see at first, but once you do a little zooming in and not, you'll find it. Here we have a nice, lovely Bitcoin chart. Carlos, what's the price of Bitcoin right now?
You have access to it, but the price
Awesome.
of Bitcoin is $48,992.34 at time of recording.
Right, September 2nd, right? 2021. Now, here, let me take control here. Nice, perfect. Now you see 2013 hovering over it, and you see 2017, and now we're in 2021 over here. Now, what this thing doesn't really look significant at all, but we'll get to that. What do these years have in common? They're all 4 years apart. And every 4 years, Bitcoin is taking off in a sense. It's getting off the ground from where it was before. In 2013, for example, looks a lot bigger now, doesn't it?
Yeah,
looks pretty good.
Looks just like the other one.
Oh yeah, right. What a coincidence. So we see in 2013. Let's see, I think it's December 1st, or I'm pretty sure it's December 3rd, where you see the peak, if I can get it. Okay, right here. $1,151.17. That's the peak in December. Obviously, this is all throughout 2017. You see November, starting from October, really. The end of October through November and December, you see an exponential growth. Now, that's the fourth quarter of the year. Now let's zoom over here. And let's close that a little bit. Awesome. Now, the difference between this chart is that you see exponential growth. You see some pretty good growth here in the early stages, which you didn't really see that back then. This is obviously because of Bitcoin becoming a little more popular. People are starting to read about it. This is when I got into it. And what do we see again? November.
An explosion.
All the way to, let me guess, December? Right, December 16th. A little off by a couple of days, but this is almost exactly 4 years in the same time, practically. This pretty much this year only confirms that by doing almost exactly what I just explained to you guys. Every 4 years, 2021 was the year. It was the fourth year from 2017. And we see a crazy amount of growth here. We started to see popping off. Obviously, this is not the fourth quarter. And to you, I say, well, because it hasn't even exploded yet. Yeah. It hasn't. It's just starting. It's just trying to get up on its legs. We're actually reaching the fourth quarter here right now. It's September 2nd. And
way back up.
It's just going the way it's intended to go every 4 years. If we see now in the fourth quarter, we can predict that we will see exponential growth starting from November, maybe October. Well, this year has been a little bit different compared to the other years, right? We've seen crazy growth prior to the year even starting. But this does not mean that the trend is off in a general sense. It's still it's still confirming that this is every 4 years. Now, if you're a long-term investor, if you're not trying to do day trading or anything like that, this chart looks very appealing. Just buy it in the third year, like after the spike, when it's at its lowest, and then oh my gosh, I just sit on it until I reach the fourth quarter of the fourth year.
It's that simple.
It really is. If you already know about this, then congratulations.
You're winning.
That is awesome. You're winning. If you don't know about this, doesn't this look pretty appealing? Because now that we have some sort of structure to it now that we have some sort of trend, not just like this weird coin that goes up and down and we can never predict what's happening. We can predict every 4 years.
Yeah. So I just want to touch on one thing, Jacob. So, well, first things first, these prices right here that we saw in 2017, we haven't even come close to seeing them again since going what you call parabolic on a chart. Since breaking that new all-time high and going through, we haven't even seen those numbers again. You know what other numbers we haven't seen again? The numbers from 2013.
Yep.
So that's just another thing to say. This it's an appreciating asset. Now, before they wouldn't call it appreciating asset. Now at the end of the video, I'm going to touch on this a little bit more. But Goldman Sachs, one of the biggest investment companies out there, said Bitcoin is now an asset. So where did that come from, right? Another thing I want to touch on is if you look at what we like this cycle so far, this is what we're going to talk about on a mindset. So this price right here, it rose from the previous all-time high. It started in December. It broke out in December and it just did not slow down all the way until April. There was a little bit of up and down, but not for a long period of time. And then it peaked in April at $63,000. Now, can you like waking up every day and seeing the price of an asset you hold going up every day? That is unnatural.
By that amount, yes, it is very unnatural.
By this amount, it is unnatural. So, how I like to think about things is what goes up must come down. And in this range right here, this is where everyone bought. I remember this day right here.
Yeah. A lot of people did that.
Because I remember Jacob, we were going crazy in the Discord, just like, yo, we're going to 100K. Like we're getting there tomorrow. So people bought at this range and then they saw this happen. They saw an immediate crash of 50,000 and they probably got a little bit scared, but then it came back up. It came back up to 57, came back up to 58. And they probably like, okay, moon time again. But then another crash happened and we made it all the way down to 38,000, seeing a low of 30,000. And that is the time right there where fear, uncertainty, and doubt, in other words, we call it FUD. That is the time where that kicks in.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people were in that Discord that we have with a bunch of our friends that started getting into it. Let me tell you, I've never seen anything more depressing, man.
It was like winter. It was like a winter in there.
People were
we still haven't recovered.
Yeah, right. I mean, right now everybody's looking out, everybody's in high spirits now because it's finally recovering.
We're making our way back.
But it was just so devastating to everybody who was new to the game. But in reality, like I said, if you just know about this cycle, you're pretty much golden. Okay, you can sit there in confidence and be like, don't worry, this is only natural.
And you know what, guys? Jacob was probably the most level-headed person about it. Like Jacob was when we first. So it was me and two other friends. They will probably end up on the show later. They were like, "Yo, is this the top? Like, we could definitely sell right now and be cool." But we were like, "No, we'll just hold on to it because we don't know where this is going. You can't predict this. You can't play the market." And then everything started crashing like that same night, and we were like, "Dang, we should have took some profit." But we asked Jacob, "Be like, Jacob, is this gonna be okay?" I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was a little sad, but I was like, "Jacob, you've been doing this for longer than me. Are we gonna be okay?" And Jacob was like, "Yep." And that's all I needed to hear. So I had to start texting my friends. I had to start texting other friends and stuff like, "Hey, man, just go live your life. It's gonna come back. Just try to have some fun, get your mind off of it." Because I got some friends that bought in maybe at the beginning of the year when the price was at about 30,000. So they got in at a pretty high point. So
No, I mean, even Carlos, I mean, out of all our friends, I believe you were the most level-headed. I explained everything to you. I explained this chart to you, and you seemed pretty confident in it. It seemed out of all our friends, you were the one that actually just said, "Hey, you know what? This is the one. Like this. Don't worry. I'm not gonna trip about it. Not gonna go. Not gonna go crazy. Not gonna be slumped in my bed thinking I could have made this much money. It it'll happen."
well, you know what I did, Jacob? Actually, I used this as an opportunity. So that's what we could talk about right now. We could talk about opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jacob, I used this as an opportunity to learn more. I wanted to learn more about the past
Right.
cycles, and I started looking at news cycles. You remember I called you one morning and I was like, "Hey, like this happened in 2017. This exact same like scenario happened,"
Right.
and
Right.
you were like, you were just laughing because you're like, it's literally a mirror of the last cycle.
Right. It is. I mean, in reality, the numbers are a lot bigger, a
Mhm.
lot, but they hold a lot of similarities, like, you know, percentage wise. But obviously, like, I think when it comes down to it, every year it just gets exponentially more and more by, you can even say, a multiplicative amount. It gets ridiculous. So like the peak from 2013, about 1100, 1200 to 20,000 in the fourth year. We can only speculate what the peak is going to be like
This
in this year, yeah, in 2021. But just based off of those two charts, you know, we can say it can definitely go six figures in a sense. But a lot of people don't really believe that. A lot of people think it's a little weird to even say that, considering it's again just a non-tangible asset.
Let me tell you this right here. This range where it was going from 40 to 30, 40 to 30, 40 to 30. This was the opportunity range right here.
Mm-hmm.
If you felt like when it was at 60, you missed out, this was the time to get back in because if it breaks where it is now and it just flies back up to 58, everyone's gonna be like, oh, it's back. The show's back on moon time,
Mm-hmm.
which is what which is why it's important to be educated on this because most people will see this as heartbreak, but I saw it as opportunity.
Right. It's just
So,
all about, it's just like when it's like, you're right. When I see it that low, I think, man, let's buy.
yep.
Like, oh my gosh, this is such a good price. It's on a hot sale. I
Exactly.
gotta get it.
So, no, you know what? It's funny. I read on Reddit. They were like, I started getting used to the -5%, the -10%, -20%. I just look at it like it's a sale.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
20% off,
Yeah,
10%.
that's what I'm saying, right? That's how it is. That's how we look at it, at least. That it's a healthy mindset to keep, and especially in something so that I think is going to be very, very relevant in our future. To not so much doubt it, but we're all human. We need to think about what we're doing, think about our choices, and I can't be more confident about a choice that I made when I was 17. More than anything, I'm incredibly confident in this, and we're trying to get you to do this, be very confident as well in investing in something like this.
Okay.
But a lot of things you guys might have, or a lot of common misconceptions about cryptocurrency in general.
So I was going to say let's transfer into the next topic. You
Right.
did perfectly, Jacob. That was
Hey,
that. Is this your first episode?
hey, this
Is this
is
your first episode? Have you done a podcast with someone else?
man. I'm not cheating on you, I swear.
Okay, so we're going to talk about some common misconceptions with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general. And I just want to state before Jacob talks about the first one, we actually pulled these misconceptions from a class that I'm taking. I'm taking a class called Money and Banking, and uh, the teacher started talking about cryptocurrency, and the a couple of my classmates were saying these exact things we're about to talk about. And so It's this is like real life concerns right now. This is what I heard. I just heard this less than 2 hours ago. So you can go ahead and take it from here, Jacob.
Yeah. Okay. First misconception is the creator of Bitcoin. What is he doing? Is he going to take all our money? I don't know. Right. But the creator of Bitcoin, right, is labeled as Satoshi Nakamoto. Now, I don't want you to think this is one person. It could be, but it's simply just an alias. Just a random name that could be belong to a group of people or just a single genius. So it's not just one person. It's not just like, oh, like what if this one guy like just says screw it and let me take all your money. The game doesn't really work that way. The way the blockchain is set up, the way the technology is, it's not necessarily capable of that. Right?
Right.
It's just Satoshi is whoever he is, whoever Satoshi Nakamoto is an absolute genius for making this technology, and is whoever, if he ever comes out and says who he is, he should be
Nobel Peace
way
Prize.
well off. He should be.
Nobel,
This is
Nobel Peace
something.
Prize, you think?
What's up?
Do you think he could get the Nobel Peace Prize?
Oh man, I mean something like this is. Well, we'll get into more of that, like this, how this technology is, and some of these misconceptions here. But let's get to the next one. How it's too complicated.
No. I'm talking about crimes first. We're gonna talk about complication after.
Oh, got you,
So,
got you. All right, so
so I remember at my last job, and I remember this is when Jacob was telling me about Bitcoin, and so I just became a Bitcoin junkie. Everything I was doing, eat, sleep, breathing Bitcoin. I was telling everyone at work, buy Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin. Now these people are a little bit older. Me and Jacob, I think we are a little bit fortunate because we're younger, and so we can afford the risk. Like if you're older, if you're 40, 50 years old, I don't advise putting that much money into this just because if you don't have money to, you're at an age where you don't have as much money to lose. So
yeah,
uh,
we're like Carlos said, we're young,
right.
so we can afford to make mistakes. We can bounce back, right?
But I remember telling everyone they're older than me, but I was telling them buy Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin. Everyone was like, get out of my face,
Yeah.
right? And then you know what? One of my bosses actually pulled this up in front of me as if this was a as if this was the end all be all for what he was trying to get to me. So this is a quote from Janet Yellen, which is the Treasury Secretary of the US. She says cryptocurrencies have been used to launder the profits of all online drug traffickers. They've been a tool to finance terrorism. It's a tool of kidnappers and extortionists that is contrary to civilization. Now, that sounds awful. Read,
Terrible.
reading something like that makes me sick because why we support something that kidnappers and extortionists use, people that are terrorists. Why would we support something like that? Well, I got news for you guys. Hear me out. If something has value, it's going to be used to commit crime, and that's just the bottom line. Fiat
100%.
fiat currency, with the currency that you use to go buy some McDonald's, that's used for crime. What's the difference? The difference with this is they say the anonymous background to it, but there's money laundering actually happening with fiat currency that people that they can't track. You have to hire accountants to track this stuff down.
Right. For
So
example, what, like real estate, you can launder with real estate,
car
anything that really holds value at all.
laundromat, you money laundering is a thing that cryptocurrencies and money laundering aren't like like they don't go together like cake and icing. That's not what it is. That's what I wouldn't say the government, but that's what a lot of people or a lot of these headlines would try to get you to think. They'll try to get you to think this stuff is icky. It could get seized from you at any moment. Let me
Right.
tell you something. If you own it, if you own a cryptocurrency, you own that. Nobody can take it from you. Nobody can take it from you. You are in complete control of your funds.
Love that.
So that is that is a wrap on that. And
Right. Let's
I
get
hope I
to
hope I'm not going to even pull out numbers, but I've seen some pretty high numbers. So I think I saw something like $10 billion were used in like cryptocurrency crimes, but then there was like trillions of dollars used in fiat crimes around the world. So
right.
I'm
Right.
not,
It's
I'm not gonna pull out numbers on that because you could probably find multiple reports on different numbers. So the numbers are there though if you want to
yeah.
go look at them yourself. And so that
Bottom.
takes us into our next topic.
Right. Uh, how it's too complicated. We're getting into that now.
Yeah, we're getting into the complication. I don't get it,
Yes.
man. I don't understand it. What am I supposed to do? How do how do
Right.
I how do I buy Bitcoin? How, what is Bitcoin?
Oh, it's too complicated, Carlos. I can't get into like what's going on here. Nah, I
Dude,
can't get into it.
I don't care. I don't care about it. I don't care about it
I
either.
don't wanna. I don't wanna do it. Whatever. I'll just sit on it.
Yeah.
No, guys.
I'll put my money under the mattress.
Guys. Let me tell you something. Everything is necessarily too complicated until you start, finally riding that bike. Until you get the hang of it. Yes, it's too complicated. Yeah, it looks intimidating. It has to do with your money. Of course, that's intimidating. But we're in an age where technology is very, very relevant. I'm not gonna put it past any of you guys that you can get on there and you can start working on it and you can get it down within a couple days, maybe a week. Who knows? Not even. I did it in a day. So all you have to do is just look how it works. Are you too complicated to buy it? Is it too complicated to sell it? No, it's not. You just haven't tried it, right? It's just like video games for me, at least. When I get into a new game, I have to learn all the different mechanics and I have to learn all the different, and I don't know, I have to learn about the environment. I have to do this. But once I get the hang of it, once I'm playing the game for a couple days, I'm it's pretty natural to me. I get it down pretty well. And same with any of you guys. Like I said, I'm not putting it past any of you guys that I believe that you guys can get in there and get it done. And if it is too complicated, don't worry. That's what we're here for. We're going to go ahead and talk to you guys about it. We're going to talk about how to buy it. We're going to talk about all this different stuff in other episodes.
Yep. So one thing I want to focus on is that saying it's too complicated. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to attack anyone on this one. That's just lazy. It's just lazy.
Right.
It's if something is too complicated for you to do, you are capable of achieving almost anything that you can put your mind to.
Of
So
course.
to just say that it's too complicated is basically saying that you're giving up and that you are not willing to learn.
Yeah, you just don't care.
So
It's fine not to care. You don't have to care about this.
I probably used to use the excuse it's too complicated. Actually, I wouldn't say I use the excuse that it's too complicated. I just thought it in my head like I don't care enough to learn about that. It's probably some bull crap. It's some it's something that I don't need to know that information. But this is investing and it is a new thing. So it's something that you need to practice in order to do it.
Right.
And that's why we had a podcast. So the podcast we're gonna be putting on YouTube. We just if you're tuning in on the podcast listening, are making a YouTube channel. We plan on posting the podcast because we did have some visuals up on the screen. So if you're a visual learner, we have that for you. If you're an oral learner, we had that for you. We gave you some definitions, and if you're a learner that you have to do it to learn it, well, I think we gave you enough information to go in and try it. So you want to talk about maybe how to buy it, Jacob, or
Oh, you going about how to buy it? Yeah, sure. Do you want to? Do you want to do that in another episode or?
well, we can tell them how to buy it, but I definitely want to do another episode where we talk about buying strategies and buying methods.
Got you.
But
Okay, so
if anybody is antsy on, getting it today, that because this is how it was for me, Jacob. I didn't put all my money into it at once.
mm,
So I dollar cost average. So I put money into it, and the more I put money into it, that I was okay with losing at first. The more I learned, I was like, okay, I feel more comfortable. I could put a little bit more in now. I could put a little bit more in now. So I didn't put all my money in at all, and that's what I advise for you guys too. Don't
right.
put everything in at once. We haven't given you everything you need to know. It's still some stuff to learn. So, but if you're feeling a little bit more confident today, this isn't financial advice, of course, but if you're feeling a little bit more
No, it's
confident,
not.
if you feel a little bit more confident today, you could go ahead and
You,
start. You can learn how to buy.
yeah, you can go ahead. Another beginner friendly website exchange for buying cryptocurrency, in my opinion, is Coinbase, number one cryptocurrency exchange in the world. And it is so incredibly beginner friendly, guys. I highly recommend getting into it. It's pretty simple to sign up for your account, verify your account, and go ahead and grab yourself $5, $10, $50, whatever it is. Make your first purchase. Screw it. What's $5? Oh, your McDonald's tomorrow morning? No, it's fine. Whatever. Try it. Go on Coinbase, make your account. What Coinbase actually has, which is really nice, is that they have little videos of some of the cryptocurrencies that are on there teaching you about what they do and what it is. And that's why cryptocurrency in general, I guess we didn't really touch up on this, but there's multiple different types of crypto, right? There's Bitcoin, who really only holds value as an asset. And then there's other coins that branch out into other things that our society is a part of, like entertainment, banking, even, which is, it might seem contradicting at first, but
Gaming is becoming a big thing in the crypto world.
gaming is really, like, esports is becoming a really big thing in that. It's just becoming really relevant, and it's not just deemed as some sort of just another dollar, for example, and just not another, or a piece of gold. It has a function. It can provide a lot to society.
Exactly.
But what a lot of people don't really what a lot of people think about it, instead of thinking about that way, is that it's more of a gamble than a long-term investment, right?
Exactly. And you know what? And that's what we are trying to instill in you, is that this is the infrastructure that is being built is for the long term. This technology is, in my opinion, too good to fail. I think that even if something happened, the blockchain is here to stay because of its new innovation. When technology, so here's the thing. We this is a perfect time to talk about this, Jacob. So when something is really innovative, the technology that it is what you consider disruptive. So when I say disruptive, I mean it changes everything that you know immediately, no warning, nothing. And you want to know examples of some other disruptive technology? The telephone, the internet, computers.
Right.
Those are very disruptive.
It's very
And
weird. It's
yeah,
very weird to get into. Like, when it was introduced, it was almost like, what is this? This is not practical. Get out of my face, you know? And that, I feel like, is happening the same thing with cryptocurrency and the blockchain. The blockchain is the new telephone. It's the new internet. It's the next technology that people are getting into, that most people are afraid of, because it's too different. It's not part of their day-to-day lives yet.
not yet.
And that's what that's what really brings me to love it, actually, because I'm kind of part of this new
Right.
evolution of,
We feel like we were part of a family,
yeah.
and when you talk to people that's into crypto and they know what's happening, it's almost like a family type of feel.
Mhm.
It's like you just immediately I'm gonna tell you personally, I gain a lot of respect for the person in front of them because I'm like, this person has like got it down. They have taken the time to understand what's happening and they're not ignoring it. They're a risk taker. Even if I don't think it's that much of a risk, they're a risk taker. So it's very important to know where you're getting your information from. So we're actually going to drop a couple links in the video, in the comments, in the description for some reliable sources for where you can get some Bitcoin news. Basically, it's going to be like a site, an aggregate site. An aggregate site is something that compiles everything for you. So it's just going to compile a bunch of articles surrounding what's happening in the market. You'll have like things that talk about the chart levels. You'll have news talking about if a company just added it to their asset sheet, if a company just decided they're going to take payments in it, things of that nature. And that'll help you keep up with it. If you read those articles, you'll kind of start to see the adoption that's taking place. You have anything else to say, Jacob, before we wrap it up?
Um, well, yeah, I mean, back to the fact that that people think it's a gamble, right?
Yep.
I guess you can say in a way, any investment really is a gamble, but is what differentiates people who actually make money off of it are people who educate themselves about it.
That's true.
Uh,
I love that right there. I think we should leave off on that one right there.
that's awesome. Yeah, we'll do that.
Repeat it one more time.
Uh, the difference. Stop. Don't do that to me. Stop. All right, listen. I said any investment is a gamble, guys. Okay. Any investment's a gamble, but the difference is how you educate yourself on it. That's how people make money. That's how you see people make careers out of this thing. That's how you see people live their entire lives just, a couple hours on a computer and go ahead and do whatever they want. Is because they know what to do in this market. They've studied it. They know the in and outs. And that's what we're trying to do here.
That's what we're trying to do here. We want you to post memes and then go hop in your Lamborghini and go to the beach. That's what we want.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope you enjoyed the episode. Let us know what's going on in the comments. You can follow us on socials at the Coin Flip Pod. That's our Instagram. Twitter coming soon. On YouTube, we're the Coin Flip Podcast. We're looking forward to hearing from you. And I think that was a good episode 1, Jacob.
Yeah. And we'll see you on the other side of that coin. Wait for it. Wait for it. I got the coin this time. There we go. Nice.